Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast for the recap of Stage 4 of La Vuelta. Benji's doing the Queen or the King's Wave. I don't know how the King waves nowadays. If it's different to the Queen's Wave. Benji should know as a resident there and our chief monarchist in-house at LRCP. I, of course, am not. And we had a mountain stage, high mountain stage in Andorra la Vella, doing a loop of the country, going into at least five of the provinces each. I think they didn't go into St. Julia, but they went into Andorra la Vella, Encamp, Ordino, La Massana, and Canillo. They go up Cabús, up Port d'Anvellera. It's a highway climb, big road, 4.5% to 5% average, some bit steeper, up to 2,400 meters. The service station there is where I think they have a standing order when Seb Berg's at Pic Maya, he tells them not to cross the road and feed him a snack because sometimes he has a moment of weakness on altitude and then he wants to get a Mars bar. They're not allowed to, so everyone knows the service station up there. Long descent to El Tartare and Encamp, then Bechelis where Seb Kuss won in 21 Tour de France, but it's further from the finish, 50 k's from the finish. Then descend into Ordino, past Miaus, and up Col d'Ordino, 10k, 7%, again to 2,000 meters. Then another descent to Comella, and that's a punchy climb, actually. So the climbs get less difficult. As I would say, the third last climb is the hardest, then Ordino's second hardest, and then Comella is just a puncher's effort. Then a fast descent into the city. How are you going, Benji?
I'm doing pretty good. I won a Zwift race this morning, but that's a whole different story. The joint cycling training's paying off there, but about you, Patrick, when it comes to Alpe d'Huez, you said that they'd have to pay you X amount of money to go to Alpe d'Huez. It was a lot of money, if I recall correctly. How much did you get paid to go to the descent of Bechelis today?
Absolutely nothing, because didn't have to encounter any humans. Because I know the whole trail network up there going,
well, that is technically wrong, because I've heard reports, boots on the ground reports, that they saw a man valiantly running down a mountain today.
Oh, true. Luke's caught me run home. So for people who don't know, I tried to do a challenge. I'll put it on Instagram later. No free ads, but I thought, can I watch neutral? Watch greatness starting on TV on my couch, run up to watch greatness in person at the moment greatness starts on Bechelis, which I thought was going to happen, and then run back down to watch greatness finish on my couch on the TV. Do all that in time from my house.
Secondly, you're more of a subject to the king than I am.
Yes. Yeah.
Being Australian.
Yeah, that's correct.
You should know how he waves.
Exactly. You're right.
Can I be completely honest? I watched The Crown, and to me, the king is now the character of The Crown. I don't know what he looks like in real life. Only the character, the actor.
Fair enough. It's still the king, right?
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah. Okay. No. This episode is brought to you by Core. You can see I'm a little bit cooked. I've been out in the heat. You want to train in the heat? A word. I am. Forgive me today. I'm a little bit fried. But yeah, a word on Core if you want to train and race smarter in a moment. But the question was today, when Pogačar would go. He just does not turn down hard mountain stages. He can go whenever he wants. He can drop anybody on any climb he wants today. Frankly, question was, would someone force his hand? And in break formation, we were saying it before the race, this UAE team, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's a good team. It's not the Tour team. And that's also fine. That's also okay. They make choices where you have Del Toro winning every other race on the second calendar. They make the correct choice there. It's not going to change the result of the race, but it did change break formation. I got the feeling that UAE were going to let basically any break go, which I think is the sensible thing to do. Benji, why should UAE bother 1 second about anyone in the break except maybe Gol?
I don't think they cared about an individual rider per se, unless it's like an actual GC rider. Like, even if Primoz goes, they might think to themselves, okay, maybe we don't want Primoz in that breakaway. That kind of vibe, you know? But, come on. Unk still got it. We saw that
but they're
today.
probably like, he'll just LaPlan himself.
Yeah, but LaPlan to the side? But for the people that don't know, what do you mean by LaPlan himself?
Yeah, he went up the road super early, and then if you're not Pogačar, it actually cycling historically, if you attack really, really early, you sometimes pay the price near the finish.
I vividly have flashbacks now of that Fabian Cancellara bonk on the Muur van Gerardsbergen in the Tour of Flanders that Nick Nuyens won against Sylvain Chavanel. Peak Tour of Flanders, by the way. But that to the side, I do think UAE was somewhat controlling this breakaway once it got beyond a certain amount of riders. And to be completely honest, yesterday evening, we had to choose a rider outside of Pogačar because that's the rule of our prediction contest. But the stage being 105 kilometers only, I had struggles finding a way for a breakaway to win because the gap would need to be notable before we get to a Bechelis or Ordino for Pogačar to not catch them if he goes for a move. But we'll see if that happens or not. In that first climb, we do get some good riders in this breakaway with a billion Visma bike riders, including Wout van Aert, Bruno Armirail, Matthew Brennan, Ben Tullett. Sepp Kuss was in there or not? Kruijswijk was in there at a certain point. Was Kuss in there?
Yeah, it was a full complement almost of riders. And I'm just watching the OTL time, by the way. So, yeah.
Why are you asking?
Because the Gruppetto is not in and the OTL is 25 minutes and it's been 23 minutes.
Oh, la, 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 la. Oh, la, 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 la. The thing is, we have a rule in the rule book. This is an interesting mention of that says that if the UCI overturns an OTL, hypothetically, if 50 riders are out of the time limit, then if the UCI overturns that and keeps them in the race, the green jersey points go away. So the question there is, who of the sprinters and green jersey candidates are in the Gruppetto?
I don't know. We'll monitor that, but I am monitoring that situation. Yeah, that's crazy on stage 4. But yeah, we see Decathlon. A new break goes. It's got, I think, the 2 men we said were going to be in it, Castrillo, Garcia, Pierna, and then Wout van Aert bridges across with Tullett, Brennan's in there, Armirail's in there, and all of a sudden Decathlon aren't happy with that breakaway. It's got Fortunato, Double, Steinhauser, Fisher Black. Why were Decathlon pacing so hard on the first climb?
I think we in the preview went to the idea that Decathlon should ride this race as if Tadej Pogačar doesn't exist. And I think that core idea is a solid concept on a mountain stage and there's a large mountain at the finish, then I'm fine with Decathlon pacing to try and launch Gal for an attack if there's no descents afterwards. The issue that I have on this specific stage with that strategy is there's descents on the stage, Patrick, which means that whatever you set up, Pogačar is always going to be better than Felix Gal. I think we're pretty sure of that, right? And I do believe that Gal is the second best climber in this race by a margin. But if you attack, you need to be able to hold the gap you create. And it seems like that part of the plan was not there today.
I didn't get it the whole time. I just didn't get it. Like
there was a moment where I thought Skelmoser was not present in the group, but that's wrong. If Skelmoser is not there, then I can get them pacing to keep him behind. If he's there, it makes no sense. Like, yes, Almeida's behind, but he wasn't really competition based on his level anyway, you know?
Yeah, like Almeida bridged across to the group. He had a puncture, then he changed, and then because UA. But that's the weird thing. UA were happy for Almeida to be their representative in that group, and they're not chase the break. And then he punctures, and then he just drops. And I was like, yeah, Decathlon pulling, which is fair enough, maybe to just not let Almeida even sniff the podium, and that he was too bad. Like there was a point as well on Caboose where it was very clear Almeida was like, just not. He's not coming back ever. Yeah. Like if you go over the top of Caboose 1 minute behind the peloton, your race is over because the descent is like you need to be in the peloton. I just didn't get it for Decathlon because say Felix Gall gets 30 seconds, best case, on Bechelis. That's a good gap. That's a proper gap. Where's he going to go with that? 50 Ks from the finish. He's got to do a super technical descent of Bechelis, incredibly technical, which he doesn't know. He then has to do Col Ordino, which is a draft heavy climb for 35 minutes. Then he has to do a very fast shallow descent on the highway road back into the city. Then he has to do a punchy climb on Kamea and then a descent that he doesn't know that's technical. Like, he's not going to go with Pogačar. And if you make the race so hard and UAE domestiques start dropping, which happens, what's Pogačar going to do? What's he going to do?
He's going to go.
Yeah.
Attack is the best form of defense in that situation. By the way, quick intervention. A DS from Burgos, David Echavarri, responds to PCS on Twitter saying that yesterday the group of the stage, the classification was changed from 4 to 5, changing the time limit from 25 minutes to 33-ish, which is also the number set on the race center. So if that is true, then the riders have a bit more time to come in.
I'm sweating, Brennan.
I don't, well...
But Brennan,
he'll just win 6 more stages, Patrick, to get the green jerseys back.
But I don't know the rules. Are you invalidated from the competition, or do you lose just all the points you've accumulated?
You lose the points you've accumulated is how I read the rule when I read it like fucking 5 months ago.
So I don't want to be too harsh on teams trying things. I understand it's a legitimate strategy to pretend Pogačar doesn't exist, but
not today.
I think Decathlon today got the absolute least out of having the strongest team. They had the strongest team to me. To me, it's inarguable. They had the strongest team, Decathlon, stronger than UAE. They had maybe the second best climber, and they did not. Gol can't descend. So maybe it's free advice, but like, Mühlberger was fucking nuclear today. Right? Yep. Mühlberger was top 10 climber today, maybe top 7 climber. He had to pull today. Mühlberger was incredibly good shape. I'm so glad he's having a good year, and he's probably getting
not good enough for the Tour de France, eh?
I would say he'd be good enough for the Tour de France. Mühlberger's been absolutely outstanding. And whack him in the break, whack Riccatello in the break, whack Bizio in the break, whack De Wolf. It doesn't matter. De Pestel, De Wolf, same. Go in the break
with that. De Pestel was really good today.
That's what I mean. De Pestel was incredibly good today. He killed the breakaway himself. I'm saying, have him for the last K or 2 of Ordino. Have him for the descent of Bechelis and to get Gol to Ordino. Have Mühlberger there, because Gol's not explosive, right? He's going to attack. And the climb is not Bechelis. The climb for Gol is Ordino. So that's a longer climb. It's closer to the finish. You've got 1.5 descents left. And then have him attack to someone like Mühlberger, who can then drive it for another 5 minutes in the wheel. But yeah, they don't do that. So they closed because I didn't really get it, because I was like, you guys can just whack Bizio in there and happy days. But don't be too critical of teams trying things. I also understand it. Teams are under pressure. UAE were dropping riders. Brennan drops Van Aert and Armirail. So Brennan likes pulling the breakaway full gas. He drops. Then basically Fortunato, he doesn't pull and then sprints for the KOM points. Very smart. Fortunato's heavy favorite for KOM, I would say. And it's all together, I think, through the
Brennan's
tunnel.
made it.
Oh, I was sweating.
24:35.
I was sweating.
Patrick in the Visma WhatsApp group chat, come on, Matthew, faster on his fucking Garmin.
No, PCS has changed it now. He's changed it to 32 minutes.
Yeah, on his Wahoo. Anyway, that being said, race continues. We've got descent right now of the Avalira, where the Decathlon is still pacing to the foot of the Bechelis climb. And there was a moment maybe of 20 seconds where I think UAE took over in the valley in between Avalira and Bechelis, but that's when it went back to the Decathlon once the foot of the climb kick-started, and Mühlberger took over like you mentioned already, kick-started super strong, and I was like, I was in the group chat, I think I said to you, oh, what if Gol attacks first? Well, that didn't happen. It was Tadej Pogačar 2 kilometers into Bechelis with 50 kilometers to go. We said it yesterday, Pogačar looks at this parkour and sees a potential 50-kilometer solo or a 30-kilometer solo on this parkour. If hypothetically the peloton fights for the victory. 50-kilometer solo is what happened partially because, like you say, hand was forced, tempo was hard going into it. Had to go. Well, had to go. If hypothetically Gall attacks and Pogačar follows, still a good scenario for Pogačar, can then go on the next climb, quote unquote, hypothetically.
But Pogačar, yeah, I'm not doing the descent with Gall.
Like, you can. I mentioned yesterday, Pogačar could try to end the Vuelta on this stage. And if he attacks with 50 kilometers to go, the likelihood of doing that when it comes to the time you gain is significantly higher. So he attacks with 50 kilometers to go, gaps Gall after a couple of seconds. Gall gapped everybody else trying to follow Pogačar here. Bit of an Icarus moment, I would say. But also, it didn't look like Gall completely exploded on this climb either. It just looked like me that he's like, okay, I can't follow this Pogačar tempo very long. And then he was stuck in between. And he looked pretty fresh when he was caught by the group behind as well. So regardless of the decathlon strategy, I saw at no point any danger of this backfiring on Gall for him to lose time, except on some wacky descent moment.
Or you isolate yourself and then someone squeezes over the top into the descent and you're having to be put under pressure on the descent.
Yeah, but which descent? Because every climb you'd expect Gall to be able to close the gap again, to be honest.
Yeah, true. And they're not relaying. They're not cooperating. There's no cooperate. Like, no one has a domestique except he has Mühlberger. So everyone's just...
Carapaz and Juan Felipe Rodriguez at the start.
Yeah, they were really good. They did it really smart on Bechelist.
He was a rider that wasn't even on the World Tour team a month ago.
Oh, are you sure?
He's the guy that transferred mid-season from the Dev team to the World Tour team, right?
You are correct. As from 1 August, 25 days ago, he made the World Tour team and he came top 30 in the stage today. And he was, key for Carapaz, bring that gap back on Bechelist. So Carapaz not having his best day. And Poggy's clear. No one's going to chase him. It's the safest thing for him to do. We all know he's going to win. It just depends how much. I thought, about 3 minutes sounds about right. And then it all comes back together. So there's Roglic, Mas, Kuss, Gall, Onley. They're joined by Mühlberger, Schelmoser. Carapaz already there. Nordhagen, Widar. So Widar's looking quite good. And then Ordino, I don't know who... Did Mühlberger pace again? I was running downhill at this point.
You were running downhill in the right eye of Luke at that point. But Mühlberger was basically back in the group. And to be honest, on Ordino, we did have a lot of fun with the second group, is how I try to classify it. The fight for the podium was really intriguing today. The fact that Jarno Widar was part of that fight is fascinating to begin with. And it was Mühlberger on Ordino that launched Gall again from that second group. Then Onley followed. Roglic bridged across. Then Mas and Schelmoser bridged across. The way Roglic bridged across, that is witnessing greatness, Patrick. I'm still got it. I said it earlier. This man cooked for a second there. I was like, vamos, Rogla. But that became the second group. You had Pogačar riding ahead. 3 minutes, by the way, at the top of Ordino. Massive gap. You'd expect this gap to be solid, but 3 minutes is maybe more than I expected at this point. Partially due to lack of cooperation behind, of course. Second group, 5 riders, Roglic, Mas, Kuss, Gall, and Onley. And then a group of 4 people where Carapaz today was a phenomenon again. He was like, I'm going to hard pace. I'm going to do a bit of an attack. And then the second someone else makes a move, he was struggling at the back. He's in that third group at the top of Ordino together with Mühlberger, Schelmoser, Carapaz himself, and Jarno Widar. So great ride by him today, but it might be even better because that group returns in the downhill towards that second group, towards the foot of Alto La Comea. This was a relatively easy climb, right? You're the local expert.
It's steep, but it's in 2 parts. So there's the average gradient. It's a fake news climb. The flat section lowers the average gradient, but the 2 sections are quite steep. Descent's a bit tricky past the British school. There's manhole covers in winter. It's a bit sketchy. But Pogačar wasn't overheating. But Pogačar, I just realized why I was panicked that I wouldn't get home in time. I thought they were going to do like a 30-minute Ordino. He did cold Ordino in like 24 minutes. So
mate, you were nearly out of the time limit.
I was definitely nearly out of the time limit. And we had good weather conditions today. Luckily, we didn't have the hail of yesterday. And one thing we've talked about a lot this year is how hot it has been, and the Vuelta will be no exception. It's warming up again. They're going to head south now to the coast and to the south of Spain, and it's going to be very hot, unfortunately. But for the pro peloton, it's unavoidable. Managing heat has become a genuine performance I would say it's put on the same pedestal as altitude now, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard Pog talk about heat more than altitude this year.
And the races show it. The first week of the tour, most likely the last 2 weeks of this Vuelta are going to be scorching hot. If you don't adapt to the heat, you're going to be ruined when the time hits, you know?
Yeah, and so I think that's that's been the big change for Pogačar as well from 2022 when he got cooked maybe on the heat on the top of the Galibier, and now you just never see him overcook. Even when that's why he's doing these long solos, even though his body temperature's rising. I assume as his intensity rises, he's able to tolerate it, and you'll see core body temperature sensors attached to a lot of riders. It's that rectangular sensor you'll see on their back. And teams use core not only during racing, but throughout the preparation beforehand, particularly for controlling heat training and heat acclimation properly. But the technology is not just reserved for World Tour teams. You can train and race smarter with core, the body temperature sensor that's used in the Pro Peloton. LRCP listeners get 10% off with code LRCP10core at corebodytemp.com. That's LRCP10core to try out heat training and see how your body responds to the heat yourself. So yeah, Pog clear, goes up Comea. Okay, very nice. Does the job, wins in Andorra La Vella. What we see on Comea is another regroupment. Carapaz is back with Schelmoser. Mühlberger starts to drill it again. And goal attacks on the second ramp of Comea. Everyone follows. He gets countered by Roglic, which I quite enjoyed. I could see it coming too because he whacked it in a big, Roglic is cooked when he's like spinning this tiny gear, trying to just turn his. He whacked it in a bigger gear, moved up to P2. I was like, I'll say Ben O'Connor was here. Like, Roglic's going to attack. You are gemooted, Benji.
Oh, I did
Unk
a
mode
Patrick.
for you. You don't call Rog Unk, you gone Unk mode.
I did a Patrick. I can't believe it. I did a Patrick. Anyway, that to the side. I loved seeing Roglic do that. He was also struggling afterwards, though. That might have tipped him over the limit a little bit because later on the climb, there was a bit of a moment where he was struggling. Then over the top, I think he might have gone to the front again after the rest kind of stopped their tempo. Either way, no real gaps in the second group except for Schelmoser being off the back, and they go into the downhill fighting for second place. And at the finish, we see who's got the kick in this group, and the rider who has the kick is the youngster. Mr. Jarno Widar finishes second on this stage. 2:39 is the gap. Felix Golfert, so takes 4 bonus seconds. Add to that the 2 bonus seconds he took on, I think, the top of Comea.
Yeah, there was a bonus sprint on Comea, yeah.
Only took the 6 seconds there.
No, only took 4. Pog 6, and then goal 2.
Yes, of course. Otherwise, only would have teleported from in front of Pogačar to behind. That's not really what happened. And that's the result here. Tadej Pogačar wins ahead of Jarno Widar. 2:39, like I said. Dangal, Only, Kus, Mas, and Roglic all in the same time. Carapaz on 2:57. Schelmoser 3:17 together with Mühlberger. So he loses a bit of time for the podium. Jay Vine on 3:37, Patrick. He rode for his own GC.
Oh, no. You got to ride in case Pog has a mech. Bring the bike
He
back.
did both. Let's be honest.
I mean, why not, really?
Yeah, it's fine. Pog doesn't need anyone, so
Yeah, I mean, why not?
this is not a McNulty moment.
I also do think for UAE, it is handy having one rider around the fringe top 10. It does make break formation easier to manage because say Vine's right. Say Vine's their best rider in the uphill starts, which he likely will be. But the other guys are suffering. You can if Vine's out of GC, you can't put him in the break because it's representation fallacy. You can make him pull, but then you're using your best maybe mountain domestique to pull at the start of a stage. You don't want to do that. So for UAE, they can just whack Vine in breaks and then he can sit there and neutralize it. And I think it just helps a little bit to have a go at fringe GC for brake control.
2 small things on Belgians today. Ram says the Bryna was really good, actually. I think he got like maybe top 20 on the stage. But that to the side, Keon Uiterbroeks dropped in break formation and I haven't seen him since. So
he finished on his own. Let me check how many riders are in this race.
How many riders are in this race?
He finished last.
Everybody's finished.
He finished last today.
Yeah, something's off. That's for sure. Because that is not what you want to see for a rider that arguably was going for a top 10 in GC in this race. Oh, yeah, true. He crashed.
Yeah.
You're right.
He had an ankle.
Something with his ankle, right?
Ankle injury, yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
So, yeah, not nice to see a young rider suffering like that. I have to say that Ramses de Bruyne performance is very, very good. Also because he was solo the whole time in between groups.
Yeah.
I think. Same with Vine. GC Pogačar extends his lead to 3 minutes 21. Primoz Roglic is second in the Vuelta. Second on 3:21. Enrique Mas, I knew he was coming into shape just nicely. 3:32. Sepp Kuss on 3:44. Oscar Onley and Jano Widar. Sorry, but the Unks have still got it. I mean, Mas not an Unk. He's 31. The three Vuelta specialists a 2, 3, 4. If Pog wasn't here, you'd be like, is this 2021? You look at the top three, like, is this 2021 Vuelta? Or 2019?
I need to report a crime, Patrick. I need to report a crime. So for today's stage, I don't really remember who I picked to win from the breakaway if Pogačar didn't win. You picked Sepp Kuss, and somehow because he got 5th, you got 10 points. How is this possible?
And they messed up the sprint. So Goal is not a good sprinter, but he does know how to shoot from the back on those sort of sprints. And he carried the speed to come third. But yeah, I think it's good that I win some points. I need them. Carapaz, at 18 seconds.
I think this competition is rigged.
Maybe. Marco Brenner, good performance. Nordhagen lost 6 minutes to the main GC group today. That's a lot.
It's a lot, but with a good breakaway, you can get back into the top 10, you know?
Yeah, but will teams start to... If you're Lotto, if I'm Lotto, I'm already defending Widar's top 10.
You can do that, but...
If you can.
At the end, well, yeah. I think that's also partially the problem here for Lotto, but I also don't think Lotto will have to do much outside of Jarno Widar just being at his best level every day and hoping that he can succeed for 3 weeks in a row, because let's not forget this is his dude's first Grand Tour, if I recall, right?
He's barely raced, and that's talent, right? That's talent that you can have Algarve. Then basically, I don't know if he had an injury in Ardèche where he DNF'd, didn't race for 4 months, shipping and back and good. Tour de Suisse 4th on the Queen stage. Then he didn't race. Then Burgos, he got sick, I guess. He was 9th in GC. And now he's 2nd on the first high mountain stage after 24 race days. And he was on the Devo team last year. So, yeah. That's talent.
For sure. That is talent. And I expect to see him a bit more in this race, hopefully. I do think that Only is the man to beat for that white jersey. That Widar's going to struggle over 3 weeks to beat him. It's crazy to see Widar and De Bruyne in the top 3 of the white jersey classification, by the way. That's like, Widar is more expected than Ramses De Bruyne. That's really strong by De Bruyne.
Yeah. De Bruyne just keeps trucking. He just keeps riding.
And becomes a different rider than I think both of us would have looked at him a year ago. Because even 5 months ago, I would have said, that's just a transition stage breakaway guy, you know?
I thought it was a punchy Urukai. I got to be honest.
Punchy Urukai?
Yeah. I thought he was like a slightly more climby Urukai.
Yeah.
But that Dauphiné stage was excellent. And then, I guess, Paris, he just looked through his results and just always on like the hard circuit days with hard starts. Nice, Barcelona, Basque Country stage 6, Liège is still 18th. He's just always there.
Yeah, that is true.
he did the tour as well. He's done the hardest program I've ever seen. Pyrenees, Catalonia, Basque, Flèche Brabançon, Flèche, Liège, Eschborn, Frankfurt to add another week to it. Then Dauphiné, Tour, DNS stage 14, San Seb. You rarely see a DNS at the end of week 2 Tour de France, and then San Seb 20th, and then the Vuelta. Incredibly hard program.
Either way, I look at today's stage and GC-wise, the result is low-key as expected, but I was expecting maybe...
Oh.
Actually, no. Like,
No, I don't agree.
I was going to say I was expecting more difference between like the second echelon of riders. Wasn't expecting Wither to be up there, but I was expecting people to be together behind Pogačar on today's stage.
I thought it'd be 3 guys. I didn't expect Wida. I thought Roglic was struggling from the crash. I didn't expect Roglic to be attacking at the end of the stage.
That's fair. Only you expected.
Only I expected to be. I thought only in goal after Burgos, they should be the 2 best. And to be honest, they did look like still the 2 best. Enric was also good. So, yeah, I think we're going to have a lovely podium battle, which is what we expected. KOM, Fortunato took 10 points. I still don't know how he got stolen 5 or whatever it was yesterday, 10 yesterday.
Same for Haters' green jersey points. It is insanity to me that because the stage was cancelled, Hater lost his green jersey points that he took 50 kilometers earlier. And Fortunato, who was rightfully up the road out on that climb, by the way, taking the KOM points, also loses them.
They gave Egan Bernal a Tour de France GC on a fictitious finish line.
And didn't they also decide that was the finish line after the top of the Col de l'Iseran, while Uran was still fighting the motorbike?
And Hater won the intermediate. It happened.
2019 TDF is crazy in hindsight.
They just made up a finish line in 2019. And you can't give Hater his green jersey points? That he won. And Fortunato, I think there was some disagreement about which one of them split it, take the average of first and second with him and Mats Wenzel and give them both 9 points.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy.
But, come on. He wasn't neutralized.
Or even give them both 8 points. I don't care.
The race wasn't neutralized when they went through those barriers. So, I feel bad for them, but that's how it is. It
shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like that.
No, I agree.
There's no clarity on how that rule has been applied throughout cycling in the last 10 years. So to now take that away, it makes no sense.
Yeah. You saying Steven Kruijswijk won the 2019 Tour de France?
No,
let's just give it to Alaphilippe because he retired.
Nah, we don't do pity gifts here.
Okay. Tomorrow's stage from Falset Costa Dorada, the false Gold Coast. I would agree with that statement, although it's inland. It's near Reus. Oh, this is a nice wine region. No free ads, but
no free ads, but free ads.
No free ads, but the Priorat region north of Reus and Tarragona. If you someone looking after your kids or you got no kids, Terra de Minicata, no free ads, but Terra de Minicata. Trail running, bike riding. I don't know why people go and take your significant other, bring your bike. The roads there, unreal. Also the wine.
I prefer the Roubaix cobbles.
This is like you are in fresh tarmac because it's so rich, the area. So all the roads are new, are empty. It's just rich farms in between, rich vineyards, and they're all.
But I don't drink wine.
I have to do that. Food's still good. Food's good, and you go train. The red one tastes a bit like balsamic vinegar.
Spanish cuisine is not up there for me with the best cuisines.
Yeah.
Hot take.
That is a hot take.
Japan number 1.
Japan is good, but can sometimes be a bit monochrome.
Britain last place.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah, Britain's all right.
Buddy.
Just it's just such the sheer level of cosmopolitan and variety makes it still like not the worst.
The best food in Britain is foreign food.
Yeah, but you can access it. If the best chefs in France move to open their restaurant in London, Britain gets credit for that restaurant.
We're talking about the cuisine of the country itself.
Oh.
That it created itself. Unless you're going to count the chicken korma as British, which you can do half-half.
Yeah, I think it's no politics, but I don't know where you draw the line when food becomes westernized and then palatable to people living in the West, but it is then distinct from where it originates from.
I think this is a semantics thing in your head because I think you can draw the line yourself. Like, if your Mexican food is different than Tex-Mex, but there's a clear line between the two.
I think you're harsh not giving Britain brick. Like, they need credit for Brick Lane. They need credit for even roast dinners, toad in a hole, cup of tea.
The fuck is a toad in a hole?
Fish and chips.
There's a toad in my pond. I'm not gonna eat it.
The median French meal is significantly worse than what you find in the
Mexico's
UK.
high up, by the way.
Yeah, the median French meal is significantly worse. I've lost my train of thought. The false Gold Coast, we then have flat terrain for 115 kilometers. We have a bonus sprint. This is very funny and very cruel from the organizers. I like it. I would do the same thing. The bonus sprint, maybe I'll put it past the first, is before the first of 4 climbs. So it's like, hey, versatile sprinter, you want to sprint for this? Because you can, but if you do, you then have to do 4 climbs where your lactate's now peaked and people might squeeze you off and you might miss the finish. So it's a balancing act.
But on the other hand, Visma's not in a situation where they need to care about that because they can have a Wout goal for the green jersey at the intermediate sprint and Bennett. Fuck.
Yeah,
Brennan.
Sam Bennett, not bad in Renewy Tour sprints just quietly.
Okay. And Brennan is going to win the stage afterwards. So that's my pick, by the way.
I tell you what, the Brennan pull on in the break today moved me. It moved me.
And we were yapping in the preview about, could he survive this hill on a versatile sprint stage? Fuck. He can get over a mountain or two. Today, I reckon if he doesn't do that pull in the breakaway, which at that point, the break was already doomed, by the way. So it was all for nothing.
The Decathlon were very concerned about GC Tullett. We're very concerned.
I'm just saying, if Brennan did not waste that energy, he would have gotten to the intermediate sprint after Ben Chalis.
What?
I'm kidding. I'm clearly not serious, Patrick. 7 stage wins, but I don't think he can follow Pogačar on a climb.
Is Pedersen, because, okay, sorry, I should finish the stage profiles. 4 hills, they're all like 3K, 6.5%, whatever. The last one, the Alto de Pauls, 4K, 6.6%. They made it for Paul Seichas, but he's not here, so that's 10 minutes at 6.5%. It crests 26K from the finish, flat finish, slightly uphill, like draggy sprint in Terres de l'Herbe. And
that is a classic 1.1 classic. Classic Terres de l'Herbe?
It is. That is a nice one. You know who followed Del Toro for 3 minutes in that race last year when he on the climb, when he was already ahead?
Actually, don't remember.
Test Fats.
Is that Berwick?
Test Fats.
It had to be one of the two.
Unreal performance. Is Pedersen climbing better than Brennan at the moment to the point where you can say Trek will just drill it and drop Brennan but not Pedersen on this climb?
No. There is 0% chance that Brennan drops on this stage.
Unless Poggy goes.
Well, yeah, but
he can't be,
Poggy's not going to do that on a versatile sprint stage.
No, I don't think so either. So you don't, Pedersen doesn't look like his tour shape.
This stage will go as followed. We see some maybe little Trek drilling it, but that is to hurt the Jordi Meuses of the world. I do think a little Trek could put Jordi Meus into trouble on these climbs. That's the point I see. I just see Visma by getting over the climb. Wout goes for the intermediate sprint points. We'll see whether Pedersen does there or not, because last time he didn't on stage 2, sorry. And afterwards, we'll have Laporte, Wout van Aert, lead out Brennan, who then wins the stage. That's the script of tomorrow's stage.
So it's possible to drop De Schouten here?
I'll just sit back. Not everything needs a reaction.
Groves also you can drop because he's not looking in the best shape.
Yeah, but I hope to see him at a better level at the end of this Grand Tour, but it's not, he's not been great. But
you know what this stage needs to spice up the finish?
Alpe d'Huez.
Marc Soler. Who would go on a flyer on this climb?
Yeah.
Where is he, by the way?
If I speak, I get in trouble.
No, he said he's not at the Vuelta because he got hit by a car. Apparently. That came
Where
out.
were you on that day?
I got nothing against Marc Soler.
Sorry, bad joke.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
Yeah. Marc Soler is what this the spirit of Marc Soler is what this versatile sprint stage needs to go on.
This versatile sprint stage, Soler would do nothing on this first.
Yes, he would. Yes, he would do something.
You're just imagining that same climb from 2020,
Cordoba.
stage 2.
No, Cordoba.
Yes.
Hey, that's where he went. That's where he went. Him and Sivakov 1-2. So, all right, I'm going with Brennan.
I also went with Brennan.
Cool.
Gotta consolidate my losses.
Yep. Who do you feel for podium right now? After we've seen the first mountain stage, who do you feel for podium?
Ooh. I low-key want to see Roglic on that podium, if I'm being completely honest.
32K flat TT, by the way, don't forget.
Yeah, but Only's podium is locked for me.
Oh, okay. So you said he was literally like, should be working. You said he should be working in a soup kitchen, right?
No, I said he wouldn't win the Tour de France.
In winter, you said this guy should not even pick up another sport. He shouldn't even go to uni. He should just give up.
Shouldn't even go to uni.
You said he should just give up. And now you're saying he's a podium lock. Am I honest? You said not even podium, second.
I said podium lock.
Okay.
So my podium, first of all, my rebuttal of that is 100% of what you just said is not representative of my statement, which was Oscar Only will not win the Tour de France.
Yeah, I agree. But I need to.
Yes, maybe I exaggerated by saying in his entire career, but I also don't see it happening in his career. Yeah, I'm not here to lie.
It probably won't happen.
You said he was going to win this Tour de France. Also, not what he said, but
I said they signed him to win the Tour de France.
Yeah, but
I think, he looks good for podium, but crash issues.
I signed Jay Vines to win the Tour de France.
Well, Jay Vine could win the Tour de France.
Okay. So my podium is, I'm just going to wing it. Why not? I think Oscar Only will podium. I hope Roglic as well. I'm feeling Philly's got has enough mountains finishes to do it, but there's also enough terrain to hurt him. I'm just not feeling the competition is going to actually go and hurt him when the opportunity is there.
They might not need to.
I think Only Angola is my podium next to Pogačar.
What if every time...
But the team is super strong, by the way.
Decathlon?
If Gall drops and Mühlberger is half a minute behind, then you're not going to lose much time.
Decathlon have the best climbing team here.
Yeah.
It's... what if everyone just follows Gall and doesn't do anything and just blocks him? And then you let him he loses time in sprint finishes. You beat him in the 32K TT. You just do nothing.
What do you mean blocks him?
Like Only followed him today. Like people followed him, and then he gets easily discouraged when people are in his wheel. So it's he has a dual problem. He lacks explosivity, and then he doesn't continue to squeeze when people are in his wheel. But it's like, yeah, but you have no explosivity. You have to squeeze them.
Yeah, but it's irrelevant once you hit Alto da Aitana and it's a Finnish mountain where Gall will just keep the gap.
But I'm saying it might not be the gap.
I think he can gap 90% of the group he was with on Alto da Aitana, except Pogačar and maybe 1 or 1.5.
You're right, actually. On Bechelus, he did. That's why I didn't know why they went on Bechelus.
I've said it already, I think, in the preview today again. I don't mind them riding as if Pogačar's not there. It's just weird to do it today because today it didn't make sense.
No, on
Aitana, I'm fine with the Decathlon starting to hard pace the climb.
Yeah, of course. It's a long mountaintop finish.
But the third last climb.
No, the first climb of the day, they dropped half the peloton on the first climb of the day on 5%. For what?
I don't hate the idea of pushing on the first climb to see if anyone's shit with the first climb on a stage.
Because if you do...
But to continue that's a problem.
Yeah, the Bechelus lead out without a satellite rider, it's just, he's not going to go anywhere.
For vibes, Patrick. For vibes. Or a farming.
I think...
TikTok edit.
I think Gall thought Pog would stay with him.
You think that Gall would have attacked and Pog would stay with him? Or do you mean that Pog would have waited for him on the climb?
Goal was hoping Pog would like wait, so he had a guy with him to then continue, and then Pog would drop him on Kamea.
When historically has Tadej Pogačar waited on people outside of Tour de Romandie?
Called our low stage 18 2023 Tour de France.
He waited on the whole peloton.
Hey, I'm Marc Soler. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, but I kind of think that might have been the rationale. Like, hope's the thing that kills you in life. Isn't there still a part of you when Pog attacks that you're like, so I'm going to follow him?
No.
Me either. But but there's still people that will go like a sprint finish against whatever, like best lead out and fastest sprinter, and they'll be like, yeah, we can win. But a sprint is different.
So far, every single stage of this Vuelta is the exact rider outside of our wildcard prediction contest who we most likely saw as the winner of the stage, except when it got cancelled by a hailstorm. So it's really not the most unpredictable race so far, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, Pog TTs, I don't think.
We mentioned on the podcast, on the preview.
Do we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you pick the fastest sprinter for the sprint stage and then the best rider for the 3 non-sprint stages.
Yeah, but that's cycling right now, so.
Exactly. All right, we'll do Tour de l'Avenir wrap up on the rest day, maybe. Don't hold me to that. But there was big mountain stages the last 2 days. Thanks for listening as always.
Worst case, we do it at the end of a stage for like 15 minutes, 10 minutes.
We'll do it on a random Tuesday. All right, thanks for listening as always to the recap of the Gold Coast Sprint tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.